The Multimedia Group's Clinton Yeboah is the only Ghanaian finalist in this year's West Africa Excellence Conference and Awards. WAMECA is an initiative by the Media Foundation for West Africa to promote media excellence in the sub-region this year. WAMECA is focusing on the theme journalism and digital public infrastructure in Africa. And we've been joined by Kweku Krobia and from Media Foundation for West Africa to tell us more about the awards. We're grateful for your time. And we also have Clinton Yeboah, multimedia journalist with us on the line. Let me start with Clinton. How do you feel being the only Ghanaian, still in the running for the top prize? Clinton, unmute and speak to us, Clinton. Well, while we establish contact with Clinton, let me speak to Mr. Krobia. Mr. Krobia, so Clinton Yeboah happens to be the only Ghanaian in the scheme of affairs. What goes into the selection processes for WAMECA?
Well, thank you very much. And if you can hear me, my regards to your viewers. It's a very tedious process, Mamiesi, and because of what we seek to do, honoring journalism excellence, we set the bar a little higher than many of the awards you may see around. This year we receive about 800 entries from almost all the 16 West African countries. So that is English, French, Portuguese, right, across media forms. And we go through a number of screening processes, including first-level reviewers from very experienced editors, including some even people from the multimedia, some of your very top directors who will review at the first level. And then after that is done, then we take it to a grand jury, who will therefore look at the seeded entries and then select the finalists, and then determine the ultimate winner. So Clinton here happens to be the only Ghanaian, in the list of about 23 finalists selected across, well, now there are about 7 West African countries, including Anglophone and Francophone. And I think it is really impressive. In previous years, we had journalists from multimedia, making up to the top, but unfortunately, this year it's only one Ghanaian, and it had to come from multimedia, of course. And
of course, the best comes from multimedia.
Some of the good journalism that multimedia has been doing. Yes.
And this year's theme is journalism and digital infrastructure. Why this theme, really?
Well, we are at a very critical crossroads when it comes to digitalization across Africa. Even in our own Ghana, how many times haven't we been bombarded with the term digitalization?
Yes.
We are moving everything digital, but increasingly it raises concerns about, issues of transparency and accountability into the digital space. Who is manning that space? Who is controlling it? When it comes to data, who is putting it together? Today, if you want to go to the banks, it's about your Ghana card and nothing else. You want to go to the hospital, you take another card. Even now, passports are being embedded in with some digital elements. You go to the bank, the fintech areas. Previously, to transfer money from one bank to another would take days to reflect. But today, just a tap on your phone, a few details here and there, and it pops up in a matter of seconds. You're able to make the transfers. But it brings up the issue of transparency and accountability, as I did say, but the infrastructure that is emerging up, how well are the media capturing it? How well are the media also putting in their watchdog lenses to review those places? We've always asked, mobile money, for instance, what happens when somebody is deceased? I have about 5,000 on my thing. God forbid something happens to me or somebody who's close to me, the person passes. They may not even know how much money I had on my Momo because it's as private as it gets. Who oversees that? Who is held accountable for all those platforms? So that is what digital public infrastructure is about, looking at all the infrastructure elements that are popping up in our quest for development and our quest for public services, and public goods.
Well, looking at the practice of journalism in the African landscape, especially talking about digitalization and all that, how fast are we, embracing it? Looking at our work, we also the issue of digitalization, competing against the traditional media this time around, and people often going to the digital landscape for news. How are we inculcating or embracing such that we don't lose out at all in the traditional media?
Yeah, that's right. Over the last few years, we've seen a lot of changes in the landscape, technology-wise. I dare say that for every media technology, equipment that is or item that is developed or introduced, it has its own ramifications or ball game for how we practice journalism. I think we have been doing well. One, trying to adapt and picking some good elements. Today we have what we call intermedia agenda setting, multimedia journalism, which is the name that you have taken upon
Yes,
yourself, so
yes.
that when you are producing for an outlet,
Online and all
yes, you have
that.
to think of online, you have to think of
Radio,
YouTube, how about
television, social media,
Facebook,
and all that. Yes.
TikTok, exactly. So we are catching up, but there's still more to do. There's also the other aspect of how it influences our own ethics, and professionalism. On the
Yes.
other side of the digital platform, that's what we call the news on demand. The digital platform says go, 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 go. Everything is fast. The news is happening there. Somebody gets there, he turns on the camera and streaming live. But Mamiesi, you go there, you have to film, come back, edit, write the script, voice
Yes.
it,
Yes.
goes to an editor for them to look at it. And so you'll be tempted to say, maybe we should do it like the way the social media content creator does it. Immediately puts it out there, but then it raises concerns of what is the standards? How are we keeping to our ethical standards
Exactly.
and
Who's
things like
keeping
that?
the gate? Yes.
Exactly. And so, that's also something that we need to be mindful. We have to find a fine balance on meeting the demands on the digital platforms and also meeting the ethics and professional standards that comes with processing story, through its procedural time so that the best comes out of it.
Well, I'll come shortly back to you on the awards itself and what to expect very briefly. But Clinton currently can hear us. Clinton, you're the only Ghanaian up for grabs for the top position at WAMECA. How do you feel about that? Clinton, can you
Hello.
unmute? Yes, I can hear you now.
Well, Mami, I feel extremely excited and I feel also very proud of myself, um, just for the awards, but also the stories that I am telling and how it's receiving the recognition and the attention that I am aspiring that the stories gets to.
And very briefly, did you anticipate that you'll be here, considering the challenges that you faced in putting out your story? And for the sake of the viewers, if you could just briefly touch on the story that you presented.
Well, so, Mami, the story I presented has to do with Ghana's only central destitute infirmary. It's Ghana's only home for old people and people with disability, which is left rotten. And since 1957, that it was put up, no renovation has gone on. The people who are there, who are supposed to get the best experiences because they have been neglected by society and they think that they have been accepted into the a facility and they are supposed to get better experiences are actually exposed to the worst situations. An 80-year-old is raped every night by intruders from the community. And her story is just one part of it. There are several stories going on, human rights abuses in that facility that when it came to my notice, there was nothing I could do than to use the tool I have, which is my voice, and also the, the the opportunity I have with multimedia to shed light on their situation.
All right. Right, great. Well, we wish you all the best at these awards. And Mr. Krabia, what should we expect on that day? What will go into it?
Well, I must say that as you may be aware, it's a conference and awards. The awards is one aspect of it, and it's a 2-day conference happening tomorrow on Thursday and Friday at Alisa Hotel. And the theme, as you did mention, is data public infrastructure, journalism and data public infrastructure in Africa. We have a lot of seasoned journalists, people from the tech field across Africa, the people from, even the telecommunication field, including even MTN, discussing instant money payment system, transparency issues, accountability from that aspect. And so we'll do that for 2 days, Thursday and Friday. Then on Saturday evening, we'll have the awards itself,
Right.
where journalists, all 23 of them have been invited, brought from across West Africa, and currently in Accra. In fact, Clinton, as you spoke with, is somewhere at Coconut Grove Hotel for a master class that we have organized for all the finalists, for this year's awards, to meet with some jury members, some seasoned editors across Africa, to speak to them on improving their journalism and the stories they report. And then on Saturday, we'll crown it up, or honoring all the finalists and eventually choosing the winners of the various categories and the ultimate West African Journalist of the Year. Saturday at Alisa Hotel, October 11th, 7 p.m.
Right. It promises to be an exciting night. Thank you very much, Mr. Krabia, for your time on our desk.